Am I streaming again here on Webbles Day? It would appear so. Yeah. Let me just mess with some stuff. It's even working. Hello, chat. Haha. That's not. That's not the best place for the chat. I figured out putting some chat in here. And I'm like, maybe I'll make it transparent. But it's not. That's not the best. Is this where I made? No. Now I need to find where I made it transparent before. I know that's why everyone comes here. It's the excellent setup for streaming. Yes. Maybe I could do a little different. Maybe I could just. Ooh, the traveling chat. The traveling chat will live down here for now. Oh, make a little bit. Something like that, I guess. Don't get much chat. I'll figure it out. If we ever get a bunch of chat. No, it's higher important. But for now, whenever I like have a VOD or something, I wanted to have chat there in case I'm talking to someone. Yeah, right? Makes sense. Also hope my audio isn't terrible. I noticed some things were very quiet before, which is an awesome problem with this headset, the manufacturer of which I will not mention, which has caused me nothing but problems. It was set to 100%. This was set to 100%. Everything was set to 100%. And I was like, you couldn't even hear me chew my tortillas in my soup yesterday. And that's a shame. So, anyways, hopefully this stuff is kind of figured out now without destroying eardrums. I guess we'll see. I did some tests. I don't know how they went. I also have been playing with the size of this window. Ooh, what's that? What? Oh, that's the corner of paint. Just hide that. It don't need to be there. And then look, oh, it gets smaller. Ooh, it gets bigger. For now, we like this. Maybe it's a little more readable. I don't know. So part of the reason I even do this is just to kind of grab my attention by my own eyes and make those eyes do things. And again, I don't want to do tutorials or anything while I'm streaming. I don't want to accidentally steal other people's stuff. I just kind of want to play around and do things. Often sloppy, sometimes very, very nicely telling, making me be learny boy kind of stuff. Heck is that? What are they doing there? Why are they so small? There's so many little things. Like you work on a project, just a little project. You're learning stuff. It's feeling great. You're doing good. But then as you do stuff and make little decisions, oof, they come back. Also, shouldn't be any desktop audio anymore. So for now, you won't be hearing my bleep loops, even though I will. Anyways, from yesterday, we found out that we can't shoot through volumes because I had set up the projectile collision dumbly. Not anymore. We fixed it. What was the dumbliness? See over here? Here we go. We'll go down through this. Can overlap visibility and camera responses in case we ever need those for any reason. I don't think they affected anything. If you run into a solid thing, just stop. That's a hit. Stop it. Bloop. Ignore world dynamic. I don't care. That's the movable stuff like volumes. That was the root of my problem yesterday, but I went a little deeper to try to make sure that this all just works. Collision seems simple, but you got to keep an eye on it. It quickly gets out of hand. Pawn, that's what we really care about with our checks on our actual pixels. Let me go up here to the actual base pixel projectile. Because what we do is we say, hey, did I change it here too? I did. That's where it got changed. Whenever you overlap something, so those won't matter. Pawn, a physics body, because often that's what I want the hitboxes to be. I think that still counts. Or another projectile for now. For now, I like the idea of shooting bullets out of the air. They shoot at you, you shoot what they shot at you with what you shoot, and then it blinks out of existence. End result, I can shoot through volumes. And what is this volume? Oh, never mind, they're doing stuff. And we'll get to that. Oh, look, I killed one thing. I killed how many? Two things. I killed three things. So that works, and I'm inside a volume. I'm also inside other volumes, and I can still shoot. Look at that. Yay. I also am printing out what am I hitting. So when it does weird stuff, I can see it. Oh, I did it again. Yay. And then I go back here, and that one doesn't work. Because I told it not to anymore, because I already did it once. Wee. You're blue. Anyways. So what happens is I'm saying, hey, you are an enemy collection volume. So I slap this down, and it says, what are the enemies based on an interface I've put on them? It'll work as a faction for now. There's probably a better way of doing it, but that's not. We'll get there if we need to. If we don't need to, we won't, and this will work. Work works. Until it doesn't. We say, hey, what are the things marked as enemies inside you? Oh, there's three of them. All right, when one of those things die, run the thing on the interface thingy thing, and increase the objective by one, just as a way to make sure that I'm passing information to the objective, which is currently just text-based. I don't have any nice counters or anything to be like, oh, gold to the basement killed 20 ribbit guys and two floating eyes. For that kind of stuff, it needs to communicate. It needs to know when it's dead. Now we know when it's dead. What else have I been doing? I've reduced my smart objects to this. There's just 5. And I put down, what is this? Spline? It's a patrol route. Doing tutorials. Learn about how they like to do patrol routes. I tell you what, it's okay. It's, how do I describe it? Unreal is a tool, but it's a tool by which you need to make tools. Unless you don't. So there's some things that are just out of the box in Unreal that they've done for you. That's kind of what I'm used to as a gameplay designer. That they will, you join a project, they say, yo, here's how it works. You're going to do a mission. Here's the format for the data. Or here's a tool we built in Unreal to help you with all. We built all these pieces. Let us know if you need any different. Or here's a completely external tool, purpose built to make missions for this one project. Which, from a development standpoint, that last one, a purpose built tool, that's the best. That's what you want if you have the time and energy to make a purpose built tool. Something that a wonderful engineer will have assembled into a program you launch, and everything that it makes is the kind of things that you want to make in the project. Not a vast open field of anything. Like, oh, you want to make a tactical simulator? Well, here's your spaceship controls. Like that. No, no, it's not what we build. Even that tool didn't have pre-built objectives. Go disarm a bomb. We had to build what that meant every time. Inside each mission that used it, we didn't have a pull down for objective type that said disarm bomb. When we had objectives, we're just like, well, got to make sure this is consistent in all the other places in the game where it happens. But still, placing enemies, getting them doing things, purpose-built tools. Now this is getting close. I have to admit, I have a limitless test for how good of a game you're going to be making with your tools, and it is thus: the easier it is to get an NPC walking on a path and then doing something at the end of that path, and then having the option to retread his steps. The easier you make that to do, to implement, to develop, the better your game is going to be. Truly. That is the core of quest and mission design. Actually, maybe just mission design, because in MMOs you're not doing that much of that. You're just kind of like, hey, enemies here, spawn, do your thing. I don't care what you're doing. Maybe you'd put like one dude on a path around an area, put a cleaner in a zone, trundling along to kill idle players. Whatever. Mission stuff, though, is I want these specific guys doing these specific things at these specific times in relation to these specific actions specific players will take specifically. You make that easy to do? Oh, gold. I know a lot of games are too dynamic to do that anymore. I mean, some of them are. Big AAA games usually actually aren't. Everyone loves open world. And the open world was like my ideal for that. Boy, I'm going down the road, aren't I? Memory lane. Anyways, in an open world game, I think of it as like not a Lego set. I guess a Happy Meal. You go to Mickey D's, say, I want a Happy Meal with apples, and then there you get a container, and inside that container are all the things that you need. And then the drink's not in the container, but still, it's part of it. So in the open world, I love having pre-made Happy Meals that I plop down in the world, and then I could hook some stuff up to. That's open world. Trying to do the single player scripting from ye old ancient times in an open world, you no one's got the time for that. I'm not going to go around and hand script everything in an open world. You nuts. That's where things like this come into play. Boop, I'm a smart object. Look at them go. So let's say that these guys make this look like more of a real encounter. You're going to patrol the outside of the encounter space. You are. That is what you are going to do. I don't care about the facing of the points right now. You're just going to get in people's way. And right now, these points aren't set up to... all right, I do kind of care about the facing of some of these points. Right now, these points aren't set up for anything like letting you loop it. I don't have that as an option, though I should make it when I figure out the logic for it. Oh, look at that. Now he's going to go back and forth, but still, you can say, hey, we are concerned with this area, kind of like look around here, investigate, so not even investigate, patrol here, and then these guys, you're going to just kind of dilly-dally, and then we're just going to pretend these are items of interest for them. Fruit stand on a table, maybe he's looking to see if the fruit's fresh. Here's a magazine over here. No one lives forever, especially number 2 did this to great effect. They actually had little smart objects in the room, and when enemies were unaware of you, they would go do things. Go to the smart object as a magazine and pick it up and start looking through it, maybe make some comments if they like it or not like it, put it back down, go to another object. Brilliant. Because that was a stealthy game for quite a bit of it. And so what you were doing, what sold the experience, was looking at stealthy enemies, or you're stealthy, looking at idle enemies and what they're doing out there. That feeling of intrusion, that slight voyeurism of a stealth game. Smart objects help with that. So if we're saying here's these interesting objects in the thing, and then this one guy's going to patrol. Now these guys all have the same AI, the same blackboard and behavior trees. So super slow guy, he's our patroller. So he's going along those points. He's stopping at each point for about half a second. And we can adjust all of that. I did it. I went into the volume. Thank you, objective. And while he's going around, these guys are free roaming. They're just doing whatever with the smart objects. So whenever I say a Happy Meal, what I mean is that these guys, if I had a container that was like, encounter basic 3A lateral Snorgy, I could put Snorgy down on here, and then I would take these guys in the patrol points and the smart objects out. Or maybe the smart objects are baked into the environment, like level designers put those in. Whatever. I'll talk to you about why mission design and level design are two different things in a little bit. They can be combined to the same person, but the disciplines are different. Anyways, so you just say, all right, these free roam guys, go here. And I will know in some way that there are smart objects they care about. And then I adjust this guy's path so that whenever the player comes in here, okay, what do I see? Oh, I'm being so stealthy. No one knows I'm here. Oh, the guy might see me. I better get down behind something. Oh, okay, he moved on. What are they doing? These guys with smart ob, they don't do them because they're just these test objects and I have nothing set up for them. But they're going here and they would get to an object and do a thing that makes sense, like in The Sims where they're tired, so they sit down. You could do that. You could do that with these guys. These guys, I was thinking maybe they could have like a little beam that comes out of their eyeball that like digitizes objects, then shuts off that smart object. So like they would come to a little stapler on a desk. They'd look at the stapler and go, and the stapler would go pop, and go from a 3D stapler to a pixel stapler. Maybe that's one of the things they could do. I don't know. But then in the meantime, this guy's on the lookout for trouble. He knows there's trouble, so he's going to go look for them. They don't react to me right now. I'm going to have to refactor how they do that, which I'm getting to. I literally have a tutorial open that I'm not going to do on stream about switching states with decorators, which I'll also show a little bit of. But there he goes. Yeah. Sweet. And so I also want them eventually to investigate. So there is nothing I know or am concerned with in the area that is in any way related to the player. So I'm just going to do my idle things and look like I'm doing things in the game world. And this guy here, I'm looking out for trouble. But then if I'm like, oh, I knock over a plant, they're like, what's that? And ideally, oh, what a dangerous word. Ideally, I'd be able to set up the number of guys from my Happy Meal that want to go investigate. They have like maybe it's just the patrol guy. These other two guys are still doing idle operations. They just run into each other. It's great. Klong. I mean, it's something I might have to consider the future for what happens if they do that. But for right now, it's Klong. Then he'd go, I want to investigate. And so what I would do with those sound targets and visual targets I was making before, one would go bloop, wherever that sound was, which it might already be a system in Unreal. I don't know. And then he would eventually make his way over and look at it. Look around. Oh, is there anyone here? Check the door. Door's still locked. I'll go back on patrol. Meanwhile, the player's like, oh, I can't believe I knocked that over. I hope he doesn't see me. Oh, the ironic thing is I'm not making a stealth game at all. Here's how my game would go. Enemies. I win. You know, there'd be actual back and forth combat. There's no balance or anything now, but I'm making an action game. Why would I set up these robust systems? So I could do things like stealth? To learn. Then I have a framework for that stuff sitting here. I can have a project, and I could take the enemies, and the levels, and the guns, the abilities, and then the first-person character, and I can package all that up. That's a game. Now I could take that same project, have a different character and a different controller, the same enemies, but maybe now it's like a twin-stick shooter with a top-down camera. Maybe that has stealth elements. Maybe that's another game. I just pile all that stuff up, export that, build that as a game in the same project, and then maybe make a side-scrolling shooter. Boing, boing. Platforming, shooting, Contra type stuff. Classic stuff in the same project. So I could reuse all of these things that I'm making. Possible. Possible with the way I've been organizing my files? Less so, but still possible. Not impossible yet. That's future stuff, though. That's nothing to do with the now today's. I'll show you a little bit about how that errors. Fall loop and main states anim blueprint. Add internalization node after this state machine. No links. ABP anim pistol. Internalization node. All right, hold on. It just yelled at me. I'm gonna put on animations. Pistol, pistol pixel, fall loop, internalization. No. Said to add an internalization node after this state machine. Where locomotion. I'm looking at a message log you can't see. Tralala. No internalization node found for request from transition locomotion to fall loop. State machine main states. Yeah, isn't only supposed to have a back and forth somewhere? Let me enter a bug. If you're not going to fix a bug when you see it, you need to at least record it. I also did fix some bugs off stream. That's nice. add internalization node in a, what is this called? AVP pistol for between locomotion and follow loop. That's not how you write a bug. It's just a note to myself, but it counts. One of the things working on a solo project that is immediate, start missing people in other disciplines. Let's really realize how valuable they are. I mean, really. Not just the rubber ducky to bounce things off of at your desk. Not that kind of stuff. 'Cause I just had a pang of missing QA. I'm also eating a cupcake. Am I going to eat every stream? Well, I can afford food, yeah. It's just nice with QA. Who gets dumped on? Everyone dumps on QA for some reason. They're so necessary. They all think they can be replaced with AI now, but they can't. Because you're introducing a bunch of new variables. That's every new game. It's just a mountain of new variables. Changes that don't conform to an average that AI has already been trained on. And then you say, go find the problems. And then you try to like define what the problems might be. So a computer that just averages crap, tells you the average, it's going to miss a ton of stuff. And who's going to decide to pass that stuff? Going to have automated, completely automated AI-driven QA? Then who's going to say yes? They're going to come back and they're going to say, yeah, the QA said it's fine. And it's going to come out and be crap. Nothing's going to work right. Then it's going to be like, oh, well, maybe we should hire someone whose job it is to verify the AI. So they go hire a QA person. And you know what they're going to do? Going to look at all these AI agents just spitting out random garbage. It's basically just going to be one person having to do a whole QA department's job, despite AI. It doesn't work like you think. LLMs have a limit. You're not going to be able to get Joe Average AI QA and expect that to turn around quality results or find unexpected things. And that's all QA does is find unexpected things most of the time. Put my soapbox over here now. Finish eating my cupcake. It's a very sweet cupcake, but not too sweet. The cakiness. The cakiness is not bittersweet, like too much sweet. You go, ah! And then the icing's pretty sweet. But it too is not too overly sweet. A little moment of joy. Despite everything going on, that was a good cupcake. And I am grateful that I had it. My body may not be, but I only had the one, and it wasn't very large. If I gorged myself on them, that'd be bad. But it's just one cupcake, and I'm fine with that. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. It's complaining. Probably about AI and QA. And missing being on a team doing this stuff instead. And the other part of it is people are just better at all their stuff than I am. I'm really good at gameplay. I get in there, I design stuff, implement stuff. I can do systems. I can do content. It's good stuff. It's fun stuff. It doesn't always work out for a variety of reasons. But one of the main reasons is I'm not great at politics. I'm not talking politics. I'm talking office politics. I'm talking the fact that you have to go in there, your intention is to make the best game possible, go into a meeting, and all people are doing is horse trading, barons, creating fiefdoms. I don't care about the game. I don't care about it at all. They care about their position and power. They're, I've been on projects where people are willing to tank games, entire projects, tank them so that they can put a slightly higher position on their resume. What about the project and the rest of us who are trying to make the best game we possibly can? And those projects get shut down and those studios close from office politics, and that is not probably the major reason that happens anymore, but still, everyone who is left, who did a good job, got laid off anyways. They just gotta spend time reaching, digging knives out of their backs. They didn't even know they were there. Bad at that. Bad at the whole politics thing. I just want to make good games, man. That's all I want to do. But I've also made bad games. I've been part of horrible games. Bad, laughably bad, awful games. Which ironically, great people poured a ton of time into trying to salvage. All for naught. Why do bad games turn bad? Because people in positions of power don't care about the game. People with the money don't want to hear things like, shouldn't do that so we can concentrate on making the game we have right now better. No, they want the more stuff. No, more. Wait, we can't add more. We gotta fix what we have. No, more. If we do more, that's just, we're not gonna be able to fix the things and we won't be able to put it in properly. That's because you suck. No, we're really good. We're just telling you the reality. I don't believe you. More. More. And the product comes out and it's just horrible. And everyone who worked on it knows it's horrible. And it doesn't sell. And then the company dies. And then years later, in regret, you complain about it on a stream on Twitch to currently nobody outside of my imagined community. Will they exist someday? I don't know. Not the point right now. The point is to throw up my hands and talk about games and gameplay. One of my today's things was going to just be design in general. One of the things that game design starts with is complaining and war stories of previous projects. So congratulations for taking part in your first step towards being a game designer. Listening to me complain. Listening to me reminisce. Anyways, the bullets. Overlap sphere collision. That's when they do their stuff, like deal damage. When they hit a wall, they vanish like this. This was unplugged for a while. And messing around with this, I kind of fixed it a bit. This can sit here. Maybe it'll be useful someday. Figure out how to make decals. I don't know. Anyways, that's fixed. I'm closing it. AI. AI! Not that kind of AI. Let's call them NPCs. NPCs and their behavior trees and blackboards. No artificial intelligence here. If enemies were truly smart in games, guy with 12 guns strapped to his back just blew through 100 of other your allies, kicks in the door to the room, Good AI would just run. Just run. Get the heck out of there. Stay and fight? No. That's why it's never been AI in games. At least not for a lot of games, especially not action games. Self-preservation has not been a big thing for enemy AI. Sometimes, but not always. Ever playing Narc? The old arcade game? It's various ports. Sometimes guys would be like, "Oh, don't kill me." They'd give up, and you walk up to them and arrest them for bonus points. Most people blow them away because the other thing, unless you're just trying to get one ups, the bonus points were good for getting you one ups, but it was risky because sometimes that behavior wouldn't last long. They'd be like, "Oh, arrest me," and you'd walk up and they'd shove a needle in your eye because that was narc. Sometimes it's better just to continuously fire. If you did it right, that reward structure was actually okay to help you get through the rest of the game. Early example of self-preservation of enemies done in a cool way. Not the most effective way, but Narc was pretty cool. It's also gratuitously gross and violent for its time. Thank you for the lessons, William S. Sessions. If you know, you know. So what have we done on the blackboard? You have your root, and there's a selector. Selector does what it says. It selects. And if something comes back and says, I can't do it, it goes to the next thing. And then over here, I think that's right. And then over here, sequence just means, if you can't do it, stop. Stop. Or maybe it's backwards. Man, I want to play Narc on an emulator. Anyways, so what we've added to these, here's the combat state. Here's the passive state. This is use smart objects. I think I should just probably call it free roam, which is not one of my defined states inside this AI state enum. Should I add free roam? It's another sub thing of passive. I don't know. Now I'm feeling wistful. Man, felt so good after that cupcake. Now I'm feeling wistful. This blue thing here is a decorator. It's basically a choosy guy. This one says, if your state is equal to attacking. And it goes, do this. But if that state changes, stop doing this. Go to the next thing. So if I'm in passive mode, I come over here and I say, if I'm in attacking mode, if I'm in attack mode, and somebody said, go to passive. You go, all right, what's the next thing? Oh, is it state equal to passive? Okay. Right now, I don't have this set up to cancel anything. What this says, it says, all right, are you in passive mode? Yes. Do you have a patrol route? Yes. Set your movement speed to walk. Move along your patrol route. Wait half a second. Move along patrol route. Patrol route means that. The enemy gets the patrol route. It says, are you valid? Because no one likes having errors. Gets fly point as world position. Move to that position. Now this is a cool thing. That was set up in the tutorial. Get the patrol index. Get your direction, which is either between -1 or 1. Get the number of spline points. Subtract 1 from it because the first point is 0. Because computers. Get used to the first thing being 0 instead of 1. The sooner you accept that reality, sooner you can start making your own games. Is my index the The last one? Yes. Turn around, direction equals -1. No. Set the patrol index to 0. Oh, is the patrol index 0? Yes. Your direction's forward. Done. Then at each point, you wait half a second. If you don't have a patrol route, patrol mileage. If you don't have a patrol route, go over here, free roam. Where you're going to go to a thing and then do it for 5 seconds and go to the next thing. What are you going to do? You're going to clear your focus. First thing that happens is you're going to say, I'm not focused on anything. Blah. No thoughts, just a hat. Find a smart object. That makes them move to it. But this claim handle comes from them searching for the object inside here. I don't need to set the slot number to random. Get out of here, old comment. Okay. This is what we're looking at the other day. Or make a little box around the smart objects. Make an array out of the smart objects. Find them. Get the results. Check how long it is. Set the slot number. Is that a valid index? No. Done. Not successful. Is that done? Does it have a valid index? Yes. Claim it. From the OWL results, get the current slot number. Get the slot handle. On the controlled pawn, get that handle. Set the claim handle. Is that claim handle valid? Probably. If it's not, finish without success. You failed. If it is, set the value as the claim handle. In this blackboard, this key name, the claim handle. The finish execute success. That's what happens here. That's how it finds a smart object. Then use it. You got next to it, you're going to be told to use it. So with the owner controller's blackboard, what is that thing that you claimed? Oh, is that still valid just in case? All right, as long as that's still valid, because I was having problems. I probably don't need this anymore, but I'm leaving it in there just to check in the future if I can need it. Then move to and use it. Found it. Don't know what that means. Move to it, use it. Did you successfully use it? You're done, successfully. If you fail to use it, you failed. Get out of there. Wait 1.5 to 2.5 seconds. Need some variability there. This is the brain of the NPCs right now. This dude, where am I? Where's my keyboard? He doesn't have a patrol route. This dude doesn't have a patrol route. This dude does. He's the one I gave that patrol route to. There's our test patrol route. Gameplay. Look at him go. You patrol. Patrol, my friend. Man, okay, so something I'm going to have to do at some point. I don't know how to do, and I don't know if it's going to be possible, and it's going to melt my brain and my eyeballs will slide out through my ears. Is there's parts of these guys I want to have them be emissive. I don't know if you could do that in Flipbook. I don't know if you could do that with sprites in Unreal. I really don't know. Am I blocking your way? Can I block your? I can't. Yeah. You're not patrolling. No. No. Okay, you can patrol. The other thing I have to completely refactor is this. The shooting of the guns. Oh my goodness. I spent time today trying to get these little pixel guns in the right place. And and I know there's two guys. I know there's still two things I need to redo. I just need to read. It's going to take like 2 weeks. It'll probably just take one day. But right now I'm going to say it's going to take like 2 weeks to do this because I don't have any idea. I'm not even near the top of Mount Stupid in the Dunning-Kruger effect for animation. Oh, how I wish I erroneously thought I knew how to do it, but I don't. I don't even know if Mount Stupid exists in my brain for that. I think I already just know that I don't know. Skipping right to the part where you're down in a valley. Anyways, and all the preview things I have for this little pixel gun is up in this dude's hand and the finger goes through the hole and it looks way better. Not here. Also, while I run, everyone just loves their bullets to go wherever the heck they feel like. Yeah, maybe it's more realistic, but it sucks for gameplay. In Doom, the guy's not like, whoa, 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 he's jumping around. Hey, hey, hey. We'll get there. Get a weed. It looked like it was coming for me, but he doesn't know about that stuff yet. Smooth floating eye orbs, smooth brain. You could live. So that stuff's been really cool to implement, right? That's been neat stuff. And it was fun. And that feeling of just, I made computer guy do thing. Is that what directors feel like in a movie? It feels so good. Get a good performance out of them. Like, hey, I want you to go on this path. And he does it. I want you to walk on that path. He walks. I can make him run. Let's see if I remember where to make him run. It's right here. Sprint. Be fast guy. Eh. Yeah, he's no longer moving slow. He's sprinting. Not as fast as those guys. There's a little conflict right now and speeds and where they're getting set. Basically, these guys have speed set by default, not the same categories, just like it's your minimum and maximum movement speed on the character movement component. But then we're defining it also in the AI, which makes sense. It's an enum in the AI, and then we get to go into some node somewhere. I don't remember where it is, and some of those values are. So I never really made enums or had any use for them before, but I can kind of see the utility now, sanity-wise. But anyways, now they just set it. Sprint. I don't want you sprinting. You're walking. Was idle 0? He really wants to go on that path, but he can't. Yes, idle is 0. Shake and bacon. I helped. All right. So that was some cool NPC stuff. If I wanted to, and I don't, I could set up a fake combat scenario. I could probably hook back in some fake, these guys shoot beams out of their eyeballs at you, shoot little pixel blocks. And I could set up a combat. But it's not useful right now to do that. A little bit in the future, and it will be useful to do that. So one of the things that we have to do once we actually have them set up to attack the way that I want them to be able to is so that we can figure out combat metrics. What are combat metrics? Well, let me tell you. NPCs need things in combat. And my goal, especially with the tutorial that I'm following while I'm learning how to do this from scratch, is to give them those things they need. But we need to know, like, can enemies fit through big door? Don't let their size make you think they can't. In my other project, and I could just look up how I learned how to do that over there, I had set up so these little points on doors, and then they'd jump over because the nav mesh. See that? Doors cut themselves out of nav meshes because they're objects. And you can set up a dynamic nav mesh, but that's wasteful, not performant. But there's a thing you can set up on the door that says a little thing here that tells AI, guys, NPC. I got to say NPCs instead of AI. AI means something different today. They'll go here and go, whoop. They know to bridge that gap, and they can go, whoop, over the nav mesh. Because an AI, I did it again, an NPC, it don't know. It don't know any of this. Just the normal geometry. It can't. Can I go up this ramp? It doesn't know. This is how it knows. Put a nav mesh bounds volume down. Make it cover your level. Ow. Ow. Yay. Yay. That tells the NPCs where they can and cannot go. What about these things that are unconnected? Yeah, don't worry about it. It's an informational layer. It's not really going to affect performance if you have a few spots like that. I don't think so. I don't know. There's going to be a whole big old time. I got to fix how I'm doing Interact too. It's going to be a whole big old time where I'm going to have to go through and do performance stuff. Not at the end of the game, early, so I can learn how to do it. Because one of the things that is rarely held over my head as a designer is performance. People can say, oh, this area you set stuff up and doesn't run well anymore. You have like 3 times the number of enemies that should be there. Okay, you got me. It was fun gameplay, but bad performing gameplay can never be fun gameplay. If you're making a game where the game performing well and running well is the bedrock of having the game be fun, then you got to make sure that happens. That's got to be your freaking priority. Run good, priority 1. Because being fun is a child of that priority. I've been on projects where that is not the priority. Just make a game, and they're like, I know it doesn't run well sometimes, but it's okay. Still play the game. And then the game comes out, and people are like, don't perform well, don't want to run it. That's not even some of the games with recent controversies about not performing well and people coming back to them and being like, lol, get a better computer. And then eventually fixing performance anyways. Not even that. Parts of development teams screaming for resources they're never going to get because the game has to look prettier and prettier. And the game looks beautiful. You put a NPC in it. It don't run well anymore. They say, well, to look for some way of fixing that doesn't make the game look any worse because it has to be this beautiful. Be like, all right, well, whatever you can to make it perform better. And then they don't, and it ships, and people go, bad game. And then it tanks studios. Performance matters. Well, that was a bit of a tangent just based on having some of this stuff up there. I don't even know if that matters in Unreal. I don't know what kind of situation you have to be in where you're looking for that to improve your performance. Just putting little nav mesh bounds volumes everywhere. I'm going to turn on this light. Victory. All right, so that's what we have. We don't have a smart selector right now. We don't have something saying, you've seen the player, get into the combat state. Or actually, you've seen the player, get into an investigative state, and then you've You're closer to the player. Get into an aggressive state. And then, oh, you've been in an aggressive state long enough, get into a combat state. With a de-escalation of those as well. And the terminology I use is, action game terminology. But it's really, without that terminology, still valid concepts. It's just abstract. Remember, any game with combat where enemies have health, it's really just enemies have a variable, and players can do inputs that can affect those variables, and when the variables hit thresholds, we do something about that. And it's shown as combat, where that variable is health, and the player's actions are combat actions and attacks that do damage, and when that variable reaches 0, you're dead. Defeated enemy. Do the defeated enemy thing. Gameplay. Gameplay. I have to look into the 3-body problem. I think. Oh man. About to start having an entirely rectally derived conversation. I want the book. Science. Physics, specifically classical mechanics, 3-body problem, is take the initial position and velocity of 3-point masses orbiting each other in space and they calculate their subsequent trajectories using Newton's laws of motion and Newton's law of universal gravitation. Unlike the 2-body problem, the 3-body problem has no general closed-form solution, meaning there's no explicit formula for the positions of the bodies. When 3 bodies orbit each other, the resulting dynamical system is chaotic for most initial conditions. The only way to predict the motions of the bodies is to estimate them using numerical methods. I hereby posit the 3-body problem is gameplay. Eat that. And it's not just 3 bodies. You take a more or less static or procedurally defined environment of objects, NPCs, and their actions, and you drop a player into it. How can you predict exactly what the player is going to do? Unless you make a very constrained game, you can't. You literally cannot. And players always have the option of just sitting there. You can't predict it. And that collision of player choice entering into a semi-dynamic, semi-static environment, that produces fun. Controlled fun. Can't be completely chaotic on a computer. It's not how computers work. Well, it's not how computers traditionally work. Look at that. Truth bomb. 3-body problem is game fun. Gameplay. Fun gameplay. 3-body problem. They don't directly relate to each other. They're kissing cousins. They're related. Intertwined a little bit more than they should be. Enemy design. Let me bring up ye old painty. Showed some NPC stuff. The second thing is enemy design. I'm not sure I want to do this right now because I don't have a good place to put notes about it without accidentally showing parts of my screen I really don't want to show. Oh, I need water. We can try. It's just a moment in history. What do I want to show here? What can I possibly do? I've been meaning to set this up. Let's set up now. What could possibly go wrong? A lot, actually. Because if I add another window, it's pointing at a browser, it's just going to pop up because I want to show my Miro board, and then I want to add to it and do things on it. Do I have options? I've seen other people be like, I'll be right back, and they like hit a button. All right, I am totally going to get my tablet for this. My whittled drawing tablet that I rarely use. You can all get to see how bad my handwriting is, especially on tablets. I'm just not used to them. Not sure how artists do it. They use these things literally all the frickin' time. It's like magic to me. I miss working with artists and engineers and producers and QA, even management. You know, if you know. If you're working with good people, you know. Is this working? Will this work okay? Is it trying to be my entire... Oh. Add more pen apps. No. Where's my... I thought I... Okay, wait a minute. Wacom. Ha ha ha! I do have Wacom tablet properties installed already. Don't be everything. Mapping. Screen area. Over there. Don't force proportions. All right, I'll try this. Hi. It worked. Why am I holding it so weird though? Oh, making my fingers hurt. What are we talking about today, class? Well, let's talk about enemy design. Now we're going to talk about... oh, this does not feel good. This feels bad. My fingies feel bad. Let's go back to this. Is that a little bit better? We're talking about chess. Chess piece design. You may or may not have heard of this before. Design lessons. I didn't know about it until like halfway through my career. I was working with some dude who made it, maybe. Worked with it extensively before on extremely popular brand product that people don't like as much anymore. But anyways, this has been done to great effect, starting with Halo. Other games may have used this in the past, but I do not know. All the examples I have, they've all come from Halo. So what do you have in chess? You got different pieces. Got a pawn, got a knight, got a rook, got a bishop, queen, and a king. What do these things do in chess? They have a very set way that they move. Very set. Pawns can move one square forward and attack one square diagonally forward. Very first round, they can move two squares forward. Knight moves in an L shape. Can move forward and backwards in an L shape. What is it? 3 over, 1 across. That's what they do. They can jump over other pieces too. Very important. Rooks move in a straight line. Got a super special move in the king with the king called castling, which I thought was cheating the first time I ran into it. I'd never used it in chess before, and then someone did it, and I'm like, what the heck is that? And then we had a quick debate, and I realized I'm an idiot. But the rooks could go any distance, in a straight line, not diagonal. It's up, down, left, right. Woof. Bishop, or like a rook, kind of. They're diagonal. They can't do castling. There's no bishop-ling. But they can move very far. They are probably the ones with the weirdest relationship to this entire list. We'll get there. Queen? Oh, she's a rook bishop. She can't do castling, but rook bishop. Up, down, left, right, and diagonals, forward and backwards. Xenomorph. Zoom. Across the board. King? Gotta defend him. Can move one in any direction. Kind of weak, actually. It will also not be the. It has different translations. So, anyways, whenever we talk about this in terms for action video game design, what we're actually talking about is taking this good number of different kinds of behaviors. So we're just saying right out the gate, we want 6 behaviors. Six behaviors for enemies. That's a good number. But what we're actually talking about is 5. Because the king doesn't count as a behavior. The king counts as special guy. Boss. Mini boss. Inanimate object. Defend target. King. So we're going to ignore him in terms of the rest of this stuff. And this may not be if you've seen chess piece design in other places. May not be the exact same thing as I'm talking about here. Because it's one of those mutant things. We're done with the king. He's too special case. We're going to go all the way back up to the beginning. The pawn. The little guy. Just a little guy? That's the pawn. Pawns are generally weak. What are you doing to me, Paint? Little threat. Danger in big numbers. That's the pawn. The littlest guy can surprise you sometimes, but generally, one-on-one, they're popcorn enemies. You just munch them like popcorn. Pop. Crunch. Gone. 20 of them suddenly, you'd be like, oh, geez. Because they can all attack me, even if they're generally weak. One hit times 20. Bad. So you still have to watch out for pawns. But generally, they're just the little guys. Knight. He is your unexpected angle of attack. That's your knight. So if pawn is kind of a basic guy, he's not doing that much that's special at a base level. And all of these can have variations. It's not set in stone. Your knight, that's the guy that drops down on you from the roof, or maybe you're flying enemies, or like the snipers or whatever. And they're little hidey holes. They're little. You didn't expect an attack to come from there. That's the whole job of this guy. Unexpected. Sometimes literally. Infamous Second Son. They had them because guys could make like little platforms and then jump to them. So you could walk into a situation, kind of note in your gamer brain without even thinking about it what you'd be expecting out of combat, because you can see the areas and the vantage points. But then these guys will come and make their own vantage points and get to them. Unexpected angles of attack. Rook. Push. Player out. Position. They hit hard. What I mean by hit hard, maybe that isn't hitting hard, but these guys are a danger, and they put themselves into the player's space. So if a player is sitting there and he's all hidey-holed up, having a good old time, the rook's job is to not punish the player for that, but keep combat from being stale by pushing the player out of their nice little fortified position. That's what he does. He just rushes you. That's the simplest example. A lot of hit points, hits hard, rushes you. Maybe he's slow in general. Maybe his attacks are easy to avoid. But you don't want to be near him, and it takes a long time to take him down. That's a rook. Bishop's a special case. He gets an arrow. He's a commander. That's what bishops do. They're not part of the direct combat equation. They're part of the indirect combat equation. Those pawns, they're not dangerous unless there's a bishop around. That bishop's going to tell them what to do. Maybe he gives them shields. Maybe he boosts their weapon attack. Maybe he gives them whole new abilities. Now these guys, maybe they're mobile. Maybe they're not mobile. Again, variations, different games do that in different ways. But if the goal of the pawn is to be a fun little guy to fight, to fill up an area that can get dangerous in certain situations, if the knight's goal is to attack you from unexpected angles, if the rook's goal is to get in your space and make you move, just make it happen, the bishop is there to indirectly alter the variables on the battlefield. Attack the mage first. Tabletop, D&D, you're DM, you got a bunch of enemies. If they are intelligent enough to understand what a wizard is, and the players field a wizard, these enemies can communicate with each other. Maybe even one off, they'll try to do it uncoordinatedly. They gotta take down the wizard because the wizard can alter the variables of the battlefield. Any spellcaster can do that. Wizards, clerics, absolutely can. Same thing here. Player comes into a situation where he can see all the stuff, kind of preconceive what is going to happen there. Maybe he's surprised by night occasionally, but he'll be able to eventually recognize and remember what these enemies can do and then sort of prepare for it. Then a commander walks out, a bishop. And those buffs start flying, or the beam goes from him to one specific enemy, you know you got to take that guy out. He's going to wreck all of your instant brainy old simulations. Oof, gone. And it's fun. What is their buffs? Can they heal, do other support? Variations. Yes, they can do all of that. Queen. I think I already said xenomorph once. That's the queen. Fast, deadly, hard to put down. It's that enemy that shows up and you're just like, oh. Doom Eternal. Those guys with the axes and the dogs. I don't remember what they're called. Their animations were sped up so much it looked broken, like a Yakety Sax should be playing. Those guys. Queens. What's their goal? Put the player in their back foot. Make the player act defensively. Make the player reconsider all their prioritization of what enemies should be fought. Because this thing can't be ignored. In what way? Fast enemy with a powerful gun running around, hard to hit. That's one. Melee enemy comes up, smacks you in the face, runs away. That's another. Stealth enemy stabs you in the back, turn around, it's already far away. That's queen. The thing from Doom Eternal that I just would always spam the generic grenade launcher attack at his feet until he died. Yeah, queen. Then you get back to the king. King's always a special case. There's no slow, plodding, easy to kill, fun guy. You make him the point of something. The point of an encounter is enemies are defending this thing. The point of a boss fight is you can't move forward until you kill the powerful guy. It's a special case. Always a special case. So, ignoring the king, you've got 5 core behaviors that you want for your enemies to be interesting. It breaks the rule of 3. Generally, if you have a game that's long enough, just 3 specific kinds of enemies aren't going to be cool enough to keep you engaged the entire time. I mean, even Pac-Man had 4 ghosts that were slightly different. Crying out loud. It's 5. It's a good number. You got your weak little guys that you can flood an area with. They're fun to fight. You can make them dangerous if you really want to. Knights are kind of dangerous. They're unexpected. Kind of a wild card. They're not too hard to kill. You can learn behaviors, train your brain to deal with them pretty easily. The Rook, brief, oh crap moment as he forces you out of your space that you're in, makes you have to move around the battlefield, changes the variables up. The Bishop, he's a commander, buffs and supports. He stays in the back, does all this stuff. Lots of variations. Don't make too many variations of him though, because you want players to understand how they're changing the battlefield and what they should do about it. And then the Queen, oh crap, I thought this fight was going my way, and now there is a thing stabbing me. That's the Queen. And then I don't know, the transport they're all defending you have to blow up. That's the King. There you go. Brief overview of at least when I say chess piece design. That's what I'm talking about. This is the core of the thinking behind it. And it's only, they call it chess piece. It doesn't really have much to do with chess. It's kind of a well understood foundation for discussing it. What you're really talking about is 5 pretty different kinds of enemies. Oh, I just got hit with a wave of sadness from a game I was working on that I was the director of and the lead designer of. We used this for the enemies, and it worked so well. So well. We had to cut one eventually. I think the whole studio died before we got to that point. Do I swear by this design? No. There are different ways of doing it. I've made some very good, very tense games. Taxing kind of stuff. They didn't do this. The enemies all generally did the exact same thing. Fight broke out, run for cover, call for backup. Kind of like spray the area, scare the player into cover. It was like a one-shot, one-kill kind of dealio. So all of them were deadly. You had to pay attention to all of them. That made it high tension, high stress. Good game. Good stuff. Didn't need this. Not even a little bit. Maybe later games in the series did, whenever things were bullet sponges and you could shoot guys in the head a few times before they went down. They probably could have used this. I don't know what they did though. I wasn't on them, and I never played them. Played, the ones I worked on a little bit outside of development. But like, if you work on a game and then someone else comes along after you don't work there anymore and they make a sequel, pretty disinclined to pick that up. Usually. But if you're making a game and you're like, hey, these guys, it would be good if they acted a little different in different cases. That's what we're talking about here. I'm going to wait, hold on, everybody. It's wild. We talked about enemy design a little bit. So this is just like ingrained in my DNA at this point, because you can get anywhere from this initial framework by adding or cutting or discarding or making variations. It's just very useful at the beginning. This gives you a good shoe on solid ground. I like it very much. Paint's hilarious, by the way. Don't use Photoshop. I use Paint. And it's hilarious that they're adding all this weird stuff to it. Right? Weird stuff. Why? You can't see me point to it, but I'm pointing at the Copilot button. In Paint. My little DohDohDev guy here. Down here. Hi. In the corner. Yeah. I didn't make him in Paint. Yeah. Piscal. Not Pixel. Piscal. But then I try to use, can't use that for this. That would be weird. So I use Paint. I'll have Miro up and running by the time there's another stream. Yeah. But what's the weird stuff that we're doing? Well, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to make that. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do this. Okay. So we look at my game, the me game. This thing. Now this guy is my test enemy, right? Floating eye. But I also am probably going to make him a real enemy. I haven't spent much time designing his look. I just know that it's pixels. So I go into Piscal, 32 by 32 limit on what I'm doing. I import these things and apply the 2D paper sprite settings for it so that they don't blur out the pixely nature of them. And then I make all the different flip books for all the different stuff like that. Those are all different flip books. I shoot them. Ah, for crying out loud. That's a flip book, just turning them red. It's all flip books. It's the look I want. Right? So what would this guy be? Well, true to his name, I'm going to make him float. So what do we got now? We got, boop. Oh, it's a design journey today. Okay. Can you see that? No. Where are we at? There we are. What am I drawing there? I just need to know where I actually am. So I'm bringing it a little bit. Pixel. Pixel guys. What's he probably going to be as a flyer? He's a knight. Unexpected angle of attack. I want him floating around, Maybe if you hit him, he drops to the ground at some point. Maybe I could find a bowling ball noise for him as he rolls around on the ground. A little humming noise while he's in the air. Patoo, patoo, shooting at you. Because I don't want him being the pawn. I don't think it makes sense for him to be the generic guy. The other idea I currently have is a froggy. Not a frogger, copyright trademark license. Froggy. Who will be a pixel frog who bounces around, jumps and falls. Doing, doing. That's a night variation. Now there's a part of my brain screaming in two different ways. One way goes, ah. You should just start with one of each type of enemy. The other one says, if you're going to have two knights to start, you should have two of everything else. Shut up, brain. So this is called the ideation phase. I just have ideas. I'm not implementing them. I'm just thinking about them, talking about them, talking to you about them, dear viewer. And if you tune in for my streams, which I'm trying to do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, then you too can talk about them. Maybe influence me. Change the game. Yeah. But what else can we have? I was thinking of an invader, a la classic Space Invaders. A la. A la classic. Ga classic. How about that? A la mode. Ga mode. Invaders, like Space Invaders. Little alien looking guys. Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop. Them. Those could be my pawns to begin with. But then what would my rook be? Because this game might end up probably being about enemies escaping from arcade games. Not real arcade games, mind you, not the classics. They can be inspired by them, but that's not where they're from. Just be like things that look like they are not out of place when talking about a 1980s arcade. What's on the screen there that fits these categories? So, when an invadery guy be in the sky if it's like Space Invaders? No! He could be on the ground and make up whatever crap we want. But I was just thinking he would be literally just white pixels. Like if everyone else is four colors, this guy one or two color. That's it. What else could we have? What could our rook be? Be a good thing that jams itself into your space. That's right. A race car. Literally vroom, charges at you. Slams into stuff. Maybe even takes damage from it. Can I get him to back up and go forward in like a 17-point turn to change facing? I don't wanna. I just these pixels, it doesn't matter. But yeah, a little race car guy. That'd be kind of cool. You know what a wizard would be. The wizard's the bishop. He's casting spells. He's doing things outside the realm of possibility. Yeah. What about the queen? You ever play Haunted House? And that ghost thing comes after you. Was it a ghost thing? Wait, now I gotta look up Haunted House, because I remember the lightning flashing in a very Atari type way. Yeah. You look like a big melon with eyes. But then be like, ooh, little ghosty guy, woo. This is an old Atari 2600 game I'm talking about, by the way. There's a new version. I heard it wasn't bad. That's not the version I'm talking about. Anyways, this is just to say ghost. I'll move over here. Ghost, you're the queen. It might do weird things to you. Maybe it pushes you around or lifts you up, possesses you maybe, slimes you for damage over time. I like the idea of it being a ghost. And then the king, bosses, objectives, whatever. That's more based in the level design than the enemy design. Kings are, because they're usually part of the narrative. Yeah. And this wasn't terrible. I might have to save this. I haven't been saving the images here, which means I lost the wonderful diagram. I was trying to figure out how make who, what, where with the AI stuff that thankfully I didn't do anything with and just watched tutorials instead, even if it means I need to retread my steps and redo stuff. This is pretty good. Floating eye. Maybe I don't even need the froggy. Technically. Technically, froggy can wait. Floating eye, the invader pawn, the race car rook, the wizard bishop. What would the wizard do? I mean, he'd have attacks too. Probably he would aim at enemies and shoot them directly with a thing. And if you could shoot it out of the sky, then they don't get buffs. That sounds kind of fun. And could I make variations with you guys? Yeah. Here's what I'm going to do. I am not an artist. Let's see how bad this hurts me. OBS. Another window capture. This window capture will be physical. Please select a window. That one that you see right there. It covered up chat. Chat is set to be higher in the order. Oh, yeah, move to top. That's what move to top means. Okay, good. So you can always see chat. For the future, I'm future proof in this. Hold on. I'm being messaged. I'm getting a signal from outside in the world. Now I'm replying. Now people have been replied to. Now my ADHD is making me look over other messages. Oof. Ubisoft's restructuring stuff today. Stay safe out there, friends. This is just. Oh, oh, it feels so bad. My poor beloved industry. In case anyone ever watches this and you're not really sure how bad it is in the game industry right now, it's 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 pretty bad with the layoff situation. I do not recommend it. Going through layoffs is not fun. Getting a job right now very hard. Staying sane right now, forget about it. Do what you can. Hug your loved ones. Save every penny you can. Live below your means. Back to more joyful things. So we've got like the floating eye already done. Gonna skip the froggy. Let's figure out what we can do. I got a 32 by 32 pixel grid. This is it. This is Piskel. Piskel is free, and you can get the version that lets you save things on your computer for free. Last I checked, which was many years ago. This is probably a very old version by now. And it is the most dirt simple pixel art creation software I have found. There's other ones out there. What was it? Asprite? That's pretty cool. A little more complicated, but lets you do more stuff. But for what I'm trying to do, and I'm not using my tablet anymore because I'm not going to be very precise with this. I'm going to use the mouse and be slow. It's good for what it does. Let's mess some stuff up. I want to stay away from the silhouette of the normal Space Invaders guys. You know what they look like. Alien thing, little hanging down thing, little diddly bobs, empty spots for eyes. What do I want to do? I'm feeling dome. All you do is you select a color and you can add to these palettes. And with this, you just left click to put down some pixels. And if you're like, whoa, crap, you can just right click to get rid of the ones you don't want. Let's mirror this. I probably could have done this using their oval tools, but I didn't. Could make this flatter. Oh, this thing would be like a glass dome with an eyeball, stuff hanging down. That's just a Metroid, isn't it? It's just a Metroid. Sure is. Let's keep going. Because I want to figure out this guy's animations. Now, if I make a little circle here, I don't want to move the whole thing. I want to move a selection. And I can't, can I now move with it? No. It's going to move everything. That's why I don't use the circle tools. Give him a little eyeball. And then we'll just have him look around. One of the things I've avoided so far is locomotion animation. I don't, I'm not, so I think that everything's just going to be a base idle state until it shoots. So moving guys will always look like they're walking. I think that's fine. Until they attack, then they'll look like they stop. But if they're stopping in place and their feet keep moving, I think the art style of the pixel stuff allows for that, you know? How are we going to make this guy look different from Metroid? Give him feet. I know it, but I just said that they're going to be floating, and then I'm like, I'm going to give him feet. I wanted it to be more column-like than that. 2 feet. Oop. That looks way worse. Fixed. Oh, yeah. So we have a foot over there. I have a foot over here. I don't have a plan for these guys. I think that's fine. Oh, now he's a paranoid. What do you mean by paranoid? Oh, space paranoids. You know, the classic game from Encom. He's going to be half height. Now, the nice thing about the floating eye, so he took up a lot of this space. Should I just make this guy taller? Is 32 by 32 a bad limitation? Block and report spam. For crying out loud. I was saying something, but that message just knocked it right out of my brain. I'm going to do 4 colors. I know some of this might look directional. Yeah, not going to work. Just going to be chill. Size. Should I always fill up the top? No. What I'll do is on the child of the BP enemy base guy, I will adjust the collision for smaller guys. And if this guy is going to be our pawn, small good. Small good. That doesn't look like a shine at all. It's probably not going to make much sense. What do we like? We like green eyes. Diddle-it-did-did-doot. Boop, boop. I'll show you the magic of this in a minute. There we go. For now, for right this minute, this is our little pawn. This is it. The little pawn. Oh, now he's got 2 frames of animation at 12 FPS. What are we going to do? We're going to move that eyeball. That's what we're going to do. Oh, please, when I click on things, click on them. Where did it move to? Shift, hold to move the selected content. You didn't select it. I stand corrected. He's looking a little nervous. He's looking a little nervous. I love it. All right. Oh, no, no. Please don't do that to me. Stop it. Oh, I picked the move tool. That's why it's doing it. All right, we want to return to center as well. Right here. There we go. I got a little animation to place. I could. In fact, I might make him lift up his feet. Maybe dangle his little arms around. Yeah, let's do that. Wrong color. Oh, so, ooh, pick me. I love it. And then he's going to stamp his little feet. This is refreshing. So I'm no artist, like I said a number of times. But just play around. Have some fun. Do things you're not good at. Don't do it with the expectation that you're going to suddenly be good at them. Just do it for fun. This is fun. I might not be good, but look at the little guy I just made. He's not done. I'm going to keep working on him. But just because you haven't done something before, if trying it out doesn't cost you money, doesn't pose any risk to you, then you could just do it. Carefree. Maybe you'll surprise yourself. All right. So on this frame, I want him lifting his other leg. I instantly didn't do it correctly. He's going to be so cute, people aren't going to want to shoot him in the face with a gun. I think I'm going to leave his arms down for one more. Oh, there's great animation things like squish and stretch and anticipation and all that. I don't do that. I'm sorry. I've heard of them, but I'm not far enough along to put any of those things into practice. Will I be someday? Yeah, maybe. Try something a little different. One arm at a time, one leg at a time. Maybe not risen as far. Then we'll do both arms again because it's cute. Oh, I feel this in my soul. It's a dumb little thing that is, it's fun. The difficult part isn't making this initial thing. Like, look at that. Look at that little animation we made in the corner. He's working at 12 frames a second. He's moving his feet, so if he walks around, it doesn't look crazy. And he's staring. He's looking. He looks at left. He looks at right. That's what he do. It's good. But then, what is it that I have to do? Well, that's just the idle. Minimize, minimize. Oh, actually, save again. Make sure you saved Invader. Yes. Minimize. Enemies. Enemies. Floating eye. This is what you have to do to make things work correctly in my world. That is just here. That was that guy from the front. This is this guy's simple flipbook stuff. That's all he does. The thing that we just made, that didn't take long. That's just this. Now we have to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other ones for the directionality, because he will be a child of the enemy base. I should probably, well, okay, so I'm going to make floating eye a child of the enemy base. And then the invader will be a child of the enemy base, where all of these are, just plug them in. I just plug them in where they go, and the enemy base takes care of it. By hand, each of the 8 directions and the damage state and the dying state are all done in Piscal. But it's worth it. Because at the end, I'll have this little guy as my pawn. When I'm the same pixel scale, the same texel scale, I don't know, as these guys. I want them uniform, which is why I'm using 32 by 32. Only the collision will change. But I want him walking around looking like that. When he shoots, his eye will turn red and he'll shoot out a red cube. And gets hit, his whole body will turn red on the inside. Instead of just applying a red material, because that doesn't work. I tried that. It doesn't work at least the way I thought it would in flipbooks. Yeah. Yeah. But this kind of work is also fun. I'm getting the enemy NPCs to follow paths, explore areas. Pretty soon I'll have them switching between things, getting investigation, little cool things where they can query the environment. And I can put like cover things on the back of objects, and they'll be like, oh, I should take cover there if there's combat. And then I'll peek out, and I'll go back to cover. All that stuff. That's coming along. That'd be great. That is basic stuff. All these enemies. These are variations that we're going to do. These are the different kinds of guys here on the left, the pixel guys. They're going to fill the roles we've written on the right. Then we will test them in different scenarios, see how they play, what metrics make them awesomely fun to fight, play with their stats a little bit, figure out what kind of guns would be good against them. And then, after combat's in a decent place, we'll make some variations. Because for a non-artist to spend, what, half an hour? How long? Oh my, was I working on Piscal? Not terribly long. But for a non-artist to take half an hour to make one of those 8 facings, technically I can make a dude in a day. I'm sure trying to say, what does this guy look like from the side is gonna really hurt my brain. But I'm up for that brain hurt because I'm making a game. I'm learning every step of the way. I'm refreshing old skills, adding to them, and by the end of it, maybe there'll be something fun enough that performs well enough, that's interesting enough, that's worthwhile, that people might want to give me money to play it. Like a video game. That'd be pretty cool. Second priority. First priority, learn. Gameplay ability system, it's in there. Blackboards, behavior trees, working on it. It's in there. Smart objects, it's in there. Multiplayer, it's in there, mostly. Shooting, yeah, it's in there. It's broken. It needs redone, but it's in there. Sound effects, I got a little thing that generates 8-bit sounds. BFXR. I say generate. Generate, I don't mean generative AI. I mean, it's like a little random. BFX, look up BFXR. It makes the beer barrel. Makes the Atari noises. Got it. Perfect for this game. Music? I don't know. I don't have a clue. Assets for like the 3D world? Because it's not It's about the pixel guys coming into a more realistic world. Oh, I don't know. Shudder, fear. We'll figure something out. Every day, every weekday, got to preserve some time for your brain. Although I do work on this on the weekends sometimes because it's fun. And we'll keep plugging away. Thank you for watching, if you have been watching. If not, thank you to the void and my own imagination for making a straw man audience for me. It's still fun. This still helps. I hope it's fun for other people too. I'll see you next stream. Bye.